Ooh. There's the counter to Magnus if they're assuming the Magnus is going to go mid. Which I think is probably most likely going to happen.
Yeah. And, of course, Prisoner in general in the hands of Fuzzy Sloth. Pretty good hero-player combination. So,
oh, yeah.
that to look forward to as well. So,
no,
back up to fresh now.
But no Riptide Prophet this game.
No. No. Yeah, that last series, from my understanding, the game 2 did end fairly shortly after that, too. So, yeah, clearly a kind of a warm-up series, you could say, for complexity of the day against Recent Gaming there. But did take that out 2-0. But, well, more of a formidable opponent now. Even though they, too, are also, again, a lot of roster changes. But we cast them earlier on in the weekend, and, you know, they had an impressive result. I was trying to remember which one it was. They who did they beat? I'm looking back. They tied against BMG, so they split that series.
I think they played Sync, didn't they?
They did play State. They lost that series, though.
That's right. They lost that series. Okay.
It was good. They beat Reason Gaming. Okay, so
that's right. Okay.
There's that. But yeah, I'm expecting them again to look at least solid here in this matchup. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Probus is banning out all of the formless carries. But problem is, Doctor's still up, so that might be his last ban.
Yeah.
I would think, at least. Because then you put Formless on a carry that you don't see him play as often.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a good ban for Probus to go for it. The last one would be Doctor. Oh, okay, well, I won't argue with that ban.
Yeah.
That hero is that hero.
He's pretty good. So they'll just take it away. You do see the bans from Formless. He takes out Tundra, of course. Again, great with that Parasite, so not giving them that option here. And their Silhouette. Is Sandray still on the board?
Yes, it is.
Yes, he is.
They have a pretty good pickoff team for Sandray to get the solo kills, so Sandray's not a bad carry here. That'll most likely actually probably be their carry, and I'm assuming Complexity will just take the Doctor. But they might not even take the Sandwraith here. I don't know. I don't know what they want, because that Magnus, you don't know where it is yet, so it's always tough to make those decisions.
Well, it's almost like, I'm sure something's kind of going through their head, too, of like, oh, well, they could have banned Sandwraith, but they chose not to. So it's like, why wouldn't they ban Sandwraith if they think that they couldn't just play against it very well? So there's that kind of mentality kicking in, too. It's like, so maybe they want us to pick it, so we won't pick it because of that. So
yeah. And then they took the Lodestone here to hide, what they want their last pick to be. But, I mean, it's pretty obvious now it's going to be the Lodestone Suicide and the Magnus mid.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of know what their lanes are, and they just really need Probusk's hero.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it's going to be the Sandwraith or something. Ooh, they're hovering over the Pharaoh on the Hellborn team.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how I feel about the Pharaoh this game. He kind of doesn't really... if they go Doctor, I'm okay with them taking the Pharaoh, but it won't do much unless they have some type of hero like that. Or, I mean, I guess they have Prisoner too. They can always hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
They're taking their time.
That they are. Again, both teams still need their carry here. You mentioned the Doctor. I keep really looking at that. It's just such a comfort for Formless. So, but maybe they will go something different here.
Actually, I was just looking at Probusk, and I'm wondering if he could take the Bushwhack on their side, because Bushwhack's a pretty good hero for their team. Bushwhack could do a lot of damage behind a Magnus and a Lodestone.
Huh.
So that's not even a bad pick either. And Clanks is still up too. Oh, didn't even think about Clanks. Okay. So Probusk has a lot of carry options here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, seeing Clanks on there, but I guess they, Prisoner decent against him. They go Madman now as well. That's a complexity hero.
Yeah, that's a good hero for them. It's always the semi-carry on Oscar, and that's never bad. And they already have the front line in the Prisoner Cthulhu, so they really don't need him on, like, a tanky Suicide.
Yeah. So, the thing with Clanks, though, usually we do like to see a non-jungler if you go Clanks, so he can rotate into the jungle and take out those stacks pretty quickly. So maybe that, if anything, kind of deterring that option here.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to have to choose quickly.
Yeah, Clanks. Okay.
All right.
So I'm pretty sure they will take the Doctor, or they could take the Bushwhack themselves, but it'll most likely be Doctor.
Bushwhack,
because
huh? You like that Bushwhack.
I'm a big fan of Bushwhack actually. I like the way the hero synergizes with itself and how it can synergize in a team fight with the right team.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of people learning how to run a team around a Bushwhack.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
man.
well, they're making their decision. It's going to be between the Sandwraith and the Doctor.
I don't know what it is with tonight, man. It's just Halloween or something, but I totally forgot to change the overlay again.
Oh,
It's switched
breaky.
now. It's switched now. You don't mess it. I'll just blame you. You're
Just
new to
blame it on
the
me.
you're new to the cast, so it must be
Yeah,
you.
it's my fault. It's my fault. I'll take blame for it. It's fine.
Blame or gross day. Okay. Okay, so Doctor Repulsor, final pick. It
Yep.
was bound to happen. Obviously, they just wanted to make sure they're talking it over, but yeah, they do go the Doctor just too strong here. Again, you're picking it up into Moira, but
Very true.
good against Clank, so it's kind of that give and take deal.
This both teams are really well drafted, and it's going to depend a lot on how laning phase goes, how each team wants to lane this.
Yeah.
Because early game will say a lot, because both teams do have the late game. So we'll just have to see how it goes in laning phase. Oh.
All right.
Well, normally it's complexity doing this,
Yeah.
instant pause.
Strap pause here. I guess just a quick restroom break, though, for the team before we actually get going here in this series. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing it here. The other series going on right now is, what is it? Reason Gaming versus the Mystery Gang over there. So, battle of the two teams that are struggling so far, you could say, in cycle
Diamond.
number 4 here.
Yeah.
So,
I think they'll come around. I think it's just a time of just, like, one of them being a new to. Actually, they're both relatively new to Diamond, right?
mm-hmm.
So I think it's just,
I mean, Reason Gaming is like, they're formerly Sona Esports, so technically they've been here since the beginning,
Yeah.
but again,
I mean,
it is
with
a
so
different
many
roster,
rosters.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, once they get a clear-cut voice, and, like I said earlier, I think they'll be fine. It's just a little bit of time.
Yeah. And actually, let me see. While we're on the pause here, let's take a look at the gold division, because, that's important, too, because the top 2 of gold do qualify for the relegation match, and obviously that means competing against the 2 bottom teams here. We got Rexars Reborn going up against Go Chaos Master. Go Chaos Master's up 1-0, actually. Who are these guys? Certus, Devo Pedro, Mott's, Click. So, yeah, a couple of familiar names there.
Yeah. So, probably just formed a new team. But, yeah, that's a couple of familiar names there, definitely.
Yeah. So, let's see how that one turns out. You got Polymorph, which is a team we've seen before in Nightmare Nights. The other team, that's Catlomine, Shorecon, Super KGE, apparently.
Oh,
Back,
yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
And then Polymorph's King Mickey's team, right?
I believe so. Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, that's actually a pretty good game between those two teams. There's a lot of good names on both those teams.
Yeah. The matchups
Especially-
in general, pretty good.
Especially Super KG.
Yeah.
He's been around for God knows how long.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that the other day. I saw him, seen him online more and more lately. He's, it's good to see a player like that back. Obviously he's had a high impact on the scene. He's a very fun player to watch, and looking forward to seeing. I mean, I'm looking. Yeah, he's in the game right now with them. So against Polymorph there. So that's if they win that again, the winner of that, that's a losers bracket matchup. So you need to win that to stay alive. The winner moves on to tomorrow. They'll play the loser of the Rexars versus Go Chaos Master series. So
Okay.
the winner of the Go Chaos Master versus Rexars Reborn, however, will go to relegation no matter what.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's always rough. It's always rough to be in that position, but... All right. I think we are...
Shorecon also back, by the way. That's also another name.
Yeah.
I talked with him the other day. Yeah.
Saw him online the other day. Sent me a message.
Yeah, so I'll bring this up again, too, since we're on that topic. And another player that I happened to see on, it was on Thursday, mentioned this as Formless, freaking Fresh Pro was online.
What?
The one and only Fresh Pro was logged on playing some Han.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's not somebody I've seen in a while.
That's one of the older names that I've heard.
Yeah.
Let's just bring back Nova. Let's bring back the original teams.
Oh, and yeah, no, Angry Testy's back too. Totally. That's a
I
thing.
did not. Is he really?
No, he's not. No.
I'm about to say Angry Testy.
Come on.
What?
He's not bad.
Hey, he was really good at 1,500 games. Okay.
He was entertaining to watch. That's
He
for
definitely
sure.
is.
All right, here we go. We got game 1 now of this series here. Officially kicking off, coming out of the pause now. The washroom has been used. We're good to go. A Luna in the hands of Love. Seen that once or twice before. Very comfortable hero for him.
Once or twice.
Yeah, only once or twice, though. Oscar, Suicide Madman here.
Yep.
Another
It's a
case.
pretty comfortable. This is a pretty comfortable draft for complexity. They
Yeah,
all got
it
the
is.
heroes that they really like to play. So,
It definitely is.
and of course, Legion having Clanks is always that factor with a Lodestone and a Magnus. They have the AoE teamfight presence. Around 20-25 minutes late game or mid game with portal keys. So, should be pretty interesting to see the mid game fights.
Yeah. All right, so we see the lanes breaking out right here. Different guy. Magnus, Suicide top lane. Or he'll be going up against Doctor, so not the friendliest matchup there for him. He's going to have some troubles. Yeah, why send Lodestone mid and Magnus top, you think? I guess Magnus is rough against Prisoner probably, right?
Yeah, but I'm also wondering why Lodestone didn't really buy items to lane mid. I'm not sure what they expected to happen here, because Magnus went the boots and pooled regen, but Lodestone didn't even get a shield or really anything. So kind of curious as to what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, not getting the buckler. That's a little risky here. I mean, Lodestone sure with the Lodestone plates is decent for absorbing some harassment, but he's going to take quite a bit here.
Yeah, this is gonna. If Lodestone doesn't get 2, yeah, he's gonna get 2 before. I was gonna say if Lodestone didn't get 2 before Prisoner got 2, he could easily die. So, but it's good. He got level 2. So, and then Doctor should win top lane. It's against a Boots Magnus. So,
Yeah, pretty friendly match for him once again. Bottom lane, Madman's taking a lot of pressure, but he's got the regen, the pooled regen, in fact, with the health potion here. So he's willing to take some harassment at the cost of getting some experience and maybe a couple last hits here and there. The stun combination, I mean, obviously Flanks doesn't really provide much, but Moira will be able to. However, no dust on them, or they do have a red board actually on Moira, so there is that potential at least.
yeah, definitely they could kill him if they get a rotation over from the Parasite, and really probably a Minotaur or a Skeleton could get a pretty easy kill on him, which would be big for the Clanks.
Parasite going to cover the 2-minute rune here. See what it ends up being. See if he can make a play with it. However, there is a ward of sight that will spot him picking up whatever it is. Just the refreshment. Top lane, it's a Luna getting the double damage. So even more harassment.
Yeah, and don't think they have a way of killing a Lodestone yet. They need a couple levels on the Prisoner.
Magnus, top lane, he's below half-life currently and has a health potion though, so knowing the limits here. Here goes Parasite, Vagabond leader. They're trying to maybe bait Madman into going for Clanks here, but oh,
Ooh,
that's pretty far. Oh, they know now.
yeah.
Okay,
We'll have to
Parasite
see what
wasn't
happens.
there initially. Now he's running back, and here we go. There's the Mana Stutter, but I got it after he actually stalked away. However, the dust, and they are going to eventually get him slowed down for the Bloodlust kill, so Probusk takes it.
Yeah, really good kill. That's going to get Probusk a really good start this game, and that's always what you want in your Clanks. Especially getting first blood and farming pretty well down here. Hasn't missed too much CS, so.
That's a huge start again. Pseudo Trilin essentially going up against the Madman here and ends up falling. Good job with the dust. As look at Parasite is also hanging around now with the Skeleton King, so if Oscar, obviously he is going to come back down here. If he thinks that, oh, it's not going to happen for a little bit longer at least, like I'm going to be fine, then he could definitely fall victim again.
Yeah, and he's going to wait around here, and that's the right decision, because they still have another dust on Moira. So that, he's going to run right into Parasite. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Hello. Hello.
Oscar? Are you awake? Oh, boy. He's going to try to juke right here, but there's no chance.
Just gonna fall again. Wow. So I'm not sure why Oscar. I mean, Oscar saw the parasite. It was pretty clear. So I'm not sure why he didn't just straight up run. He would have been fine. A little misplay by Oscar, but the prisoner doing well in the mid lane is gonna kind of make up for that, but not enough to warrant the Clanks being 450 GPM already.
Yeah. No, that's scary. That's definitely scary right here. Middle lane, Lodestone taking some good pressure again. If he gets hooked here, nope, not even going to go for it. Just kind of running up and harassing him a little bit, but not worth committing too much. A little power throw hits, and you see he wants to try to hit that hook, but yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's too far away there. But to be fair, Clanks, yeah, he's really up there, and that is scary, but it drops off a lot after him. There's no farm going for anyone else, really.
Well, but that is the hero you want to put all your farm on if you're going to put it on one hero.
True.
That's the choice.
Very true.
And hopefully Parasite gets, a decent puzzle box, and that'll help get Clanks through this early game. Once Prisoner gets a PK, it's going to be a problem for him because he's pretty vulnerable to the Prisoner just blinking on him and ulting until he gets, actual items.
How is Cthulhu Font doing? He's 250 gold per minute. Not too bad for what you got here. Actually got the bottle even on the Elephant. Him, Prisoner, and Madman all have bottles actually.
So. Need the extra regen.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is gonna get popped right here.
There we go. Gonna be spotted. Can he get the stun first? Yes, he can. Lodestone follows it. The head smash will help to take out a Luna. And now Prisoner in some trouble as well. Gonna walk away. Goes for the hook, hits Parasite. Madman's still around, but now Magnus stuns it. Parasite getting low. He ends up sticking around for the leash to finish off Madman. However, he will die. As Fuzzy Sloth gets credit there, the shackle still remaining on him. So finally gets something out of it in the end, but
really good rotations by the Pro Buskin squad. What's actually they're fresh, right?
Fresh, yeah.
Fresh. Okay, all right. Making sure. Double check.
Simple fresh team.
Simple, finally an easy team name.
Yeah, it is nice. I forget what they were before that. I think they were like somewhat of a confusing name before that, and they just went to fresh, and I was like, oh, thank God.
I'll have to say this long name again.
So much easier. So, but I mean, again, even after the great rotations, there are 4-to-1 hero kills. It's still just old Clanks, really. I mean, you got Prisoner at 410 GPM, Doctor Repulsor at 360 over here. Also, pretty good news that Formless. So we were talking about this earlier. You mentioned that the Europeans versus the North Americans, it feels like, with the Doctors at least. And so you think, well, what is Formless going to go then?
He'll definitely go the Icon. It's just his favorite thing to do. We believe that it's super hard to play Doctor without an Icon because you jump into a team fight, you use all your mana. Well, you have no way of regaining it back other than just running around with your health flower that you have. So it just seems like the right choice to go Icon. I feel like the item was just made for Doctor, and it really gives him the edge that he didn't used to have.
Yeah. All right, keep an eye on that. Bottom lane, again, Madman might be in a little bit of trouble. No, never mind. Simply more coming over to actually maybe even take over the lane a little bit, because now Clanks is rotating into the jungle. Has the Warp Clef. But, this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, when you have a jungler, obviously you're not going to have it as stacked as you maybe would hope for. There are still a couple of camps, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure once he gets his Thunderclaw, Parasite will either go into the other team's jungle or start ganking a lot more. I don't see him staying in the jungle. Like you need to give Clanks the farm that he needs to get to the scary point that he. Oh,
that's a big kill on a Formless up here.
Not what you want to happen. Is that a Stealth Hunter?
It must have been, because, I do see a Wild Hunter camp, and there's no Stealth Summoner there, so I think it might have been. Meanwhile, middle lane, Shatterstorm from Lodestone. Slaughter goes off right there. He will fall victim. Parasite trying to clean it up. I know. 4 out here now. He's going to be eaten out of the creep, and now he's in trouble. And the Obliterate taking him down. Clanks joining the party, though. He gets here a little late. Power Throw going to miss. Parasite is actually still alive. Off to the side, barely in the life. Finally chased down, but now the dust is using Oscar. He had to commit for that kill. And he will end up dying as a result of it. So, because Parasite managed to live a little bit longer, they at least get the kill on Oscar there. A lot of rotations, though.
Yeah, the fighting's starting a little bit earlier than I thought. I think the complexity team really needs to wait until they get the icon on Doctor and either the PK on Prisoner, PK on oh, this will be a really big kill.
Fine for them, yeah.
So yeah, that's what needs to happen. They're already doing the rotations. They should have PK on Prisoner very soon, and that'll be a big problem for Probusk. So look for more defensive ward. Oh yeah, he already's got one up. Bunny Lover's got a pretty good defensive ward over there, but they need to make sure that Clanks doesn't die. That's the big thing at this point. If he doesn't die, it can get to 25 minutes. You know, with 500 plus GPM, which I'm sure he will. They have a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah. But now you got Cthulhu also kind of going through the Legion jungle. Going to use that hook M to help farm up some camps and continue to be active here. He's going to run by a Parasite and a Moira. You do see they're going to find him. Out comes the net from the Skeleton King. And here we go, Lodestone trying to follow it up. He has a stun. He's not going to choose to use it. In fact, he gets pulled back by Prisoner. Arcane Vortex. Cthulhu is fairly low. Magnus will stun in and guarantee the kill right here. Aluna coming in late, but with Clanks joining especially, both Prisoner and Cthulhu end up falling there. So, you know, losing Cthulhu was one thing, but Prisoner also going down. That's what really makes it pretty damn good for Fresh there.
Yeah, that's going to delay the portal key even more, which means now they can get this tier 1 tower pretty easily. They have all 5 here. And Doctor had no TP there, which I don't think he would have wanted TP to that anyways, but it's still... It's getting to the point where if Complexity isn't too careful, they could lose this game pretty early. So
yeah,
they just need to be careful about it at this point.
You do see TP's coming in, and will be the key to get back here for the Legion side. Meanwhile, Dr. Repulsor, he did push in the top tower, of course. So another 1,200 gold saved up for Formless here, 400 gold per minute. There's the glowstone. So, yep, if in case for whatever reason we're questioning or wondering, it is going to be the icon.
Yeah.
As you're pointing out there, so... who got the invis here? Looks like Prisoner did, so...
Got it bottled, yep.
Possibility of using that. Now, you already have a Madman on your team, and clearly they've been making a point of dealing with the rev boards and stuff, so... Invis, you got to be a little careful with that. Might get spotted if you're not careful. Top lane.
Oh. They definitely need the Parasite to be able to kill this Doctor, or the Moira. Moira with Magnus could easily kill the Doctor, so... He does have to be a little bit careful. Not get caught by a Magnus stun.
Yeah.
They're kind of grouping around mid, though. I don't know if they're expecting people to be sitting behind Fuzzy Slop mid and they get a hook off, but... Oh, there's the Veiled Rot Parasite.
Doctor going in. Here we go. Magnus dropping half-life. What a dodge there from Form. And he destroys the face hug. Oh, man.
That was big.
That's where you say hashtag meant to do that in chat after that, because, yeah, that was just, that was awesome to watch. I mean, the face hug, you could definitely, I mean, you can react to that, but the lava surge, I mean, that was just pure coincidence sure.
It's a nice one to dodge, though, because he might have died there.
Yeah.
Because then he definitely would have been ulted by the Parasite. So actually, yeah, he would have died. So whatever it was good.
Great getaway there. Lodestone getting pressured a little bit by Prisoner, but yeah, going to be fine. Prisoner has 2,300 gold, so more than enough for the portal key. There we go.
Yeah.
Does purchase it. And now going to be coming out. Oscar's found some room to farm finally. Here at the bottom.
Yeah, and Fresh does have to be careful because now that Clanks' W drops so fast now, I think if you're hit 4 times, I think it drops off. So, you know, with Madman having his ulti up and a Basher, you can lose your flight really fast. So it's just more of a positioning thing for Clanks this game.
Yeah. Whew, Clanks, that power threat, I believe it even connected right there, but is able to fly away.
They're going to want to finish these Ancients. Oh. That was a random power throw, too.
Yeah. I think it was to scout the Ancients more so, and it just happened.
I guess so. It just happened to hit him. Well, Magnus ultis him, getting it closer to his portal key, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, they'll take that, but it did slow down Clanks a little bit at least, so that's the good news there. But yeah, portal key on Magnus. Of course, scary as well. Bottom lane. Prisoner making his way over here. He has that invis now activated that we were talking about earlier. Wonder if they saw him either use it or if he walked past a rev for. That's why he's not really able to find an opportunity here with it currently. But Icon of the Goddess is finished now at Dr. Repulsor at about 13 minutes. So pretty good timing here for Formless. We'll see if they can start getting some charges on that now coming up. But so Probusk, you know, this guy as a carry player, I mean, he's always had the the idea that he likes to build very somewhat defensive as well as, a lot of build-up in general. Looks like he might be going... I mean, again, he could now transition to a Firebrand, but with a Mighty Blade, would it surprise you if he goes Shrunken Head first?
I don't like not having Firebrand second item, really, no matter what. I think... Oh, mid-lane.
The red stun gonna miss.
That was close. Yeah, like, I just don't like not having Firebrand on the hero. I think it really ups your farm. Ooh.
Yeah, there's actually down here at the bottom rune. Face again on to Madman right there, looking to chase him down. Moira assists with the stun, gets the kill. Prisoner pulls in Parasite as the trample's going to whiff, though, unfortunately. However, Dr. Pulsar, but no, Magnus Lava Search in. That's going to be a big Shadow Storm as well. Most likely it hits Cthulhu Font, not Doctor. Aluna off to the side is just trying to run and survive against Probust. That ain't going to happen, though. Meanwhile, Cthulhu Font goes down. Lodestone, he might have overstayed his welcome a little bit too much. Arcane Vortex, however, will stall this. Lodestone gets out. Moira, she also is actually going to escape. What an Arcane Vortex right there. And they end up definitely on top in the end. So Fresh, again, coming on top of this fight here.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Clancy was there the whole time, so I'm not really sure why they would choose to take that fight after Oscar died, but they kind of wanted to stay around. I mean, maybe to get the icon charges on Doctor, but they kind of just stood around and really didn't, they just lost players for it. So I think once Oscar died, they probably should just got out, cut their losses.
And now you got Clanks here. He is definitely going for the Shrunken Head. He's got the Warhammer purchase, so not going to continue with the farm, the aggressive farm build. It's more so interested to get a tankier item.
If they look to fight early, then the Shrunken might be a better choice. But if he just farms with the Shrunken, then it's not going to be worth it. He could have just been a Firebrand that would have helped him get the Shrunken pass. So we'll have to see if they choose the fight once he gets it, because he should have it relatively soon, or after he goes to the Ancients.
And he comes over here, going to try to stack them at least. Get the most efficient farm possible. Portal key on what you got here. He's level 11, but as we're talking about, I think it was the previous series even. Cthulhu Font, his ultimate really is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, definitely.
It has potential to do, I guess, decent damage. I mean, up to 900 AoE magic damage is pretty good, but you need a lot to kind of happen for that to really get value.
You need a lot of stuns on top of each other perfectly, to get that full damage off. And most of the time, it's not more than, I'd say, 400 damage. Maybe you get off on one hero. So it's, yeah, it's really just to stop the Parasite and to, it's a good line stun if you hit it right. I think it's the longest line stun. I think it's definitely farther than Magnus.
Well, there's the synergy that it does have, where you can push creeps and everything, and like there's the things like the Dimension Shaman. Of course, there's definitely great power in that. But bottom tower, by the way, goes down. You see, Dust comes out. It is going to spot Prisoner.
Ooh.
And now Fuzzy Sloth, he's in a lot of trouble. He's probably dead here. All five are going to collapse even. Robust manages to get the last hit on him. So that was... They lost the tower, but they make up for it as they take out Prisoner here.
Even with this massive kill lead, the gold lead is nothing. But
no.
Which is kind of interesting, because the towers are...
oh, jeez.
Okay, then. So they've taken all three outer towers now, so just about to say that. So just farming really well, I guess, on the complexity team. There's 3 heroes at 300, so... And Madman should be there relatively soon, and then, yeah, you're right, it's just Clanks farming at this point, so kill Clanks, win game, I guess.
Yeah, it really seems like that, again, the 12 to 5 hero kill lead, I think a lot of it does come from, they've been doing a lot of moving together, and that's like been their big focus here, is just simply trying to get hero kills. So, yeah, this is the definition of a 4-1 strat, really. It's get the carry, all the farm possible, and the other 4, they'll be your early game, but do not expect them to have the mid to late game, at least like carry-esque impact, of course. I mean, it is the all-in on Probust here. Probust is definitely a carry player that, he's kind of had that history too, for sure.
Yeah. It's just, like, it's 20 minutes now, and Parasite, it doesn't even have level 1 puzzle box, and that's, by the time he gets level 3, it'll be, 26, 27 minutes, and does it really have that early game impact, which is, I can go solo kill any hero now. So, it'll be more of a team fight item now, but he's not going to get the goal for getting all the solo kills.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason why this isn't necessarily a seen strategy nowadays. I know Reason Gaming, or now I guess Evil Corporation. I mean, they were a team that was definitely known for doing it even last season with Imbo Boy, but they kind of started to transition from that. You could really feel it throughout the season, and then of course, especially into this one, where sure they put a lot of focus on him as the carry, but they still make sure to the other heroes, like whenever they have a Parasite, for example, Tankafet does a great job at getting that puzzle box ASAP, getting his farm, and whether it's just I guess the rotations at perfect times or just knowing who stacks when and that communication just being on point. I mean, I'm sure that's what a lot of it comes from, but putting everything on one player and hero it's hard to make it work. It really is. So, but again, that's what they're going for here.
If he dies, it's a huge problem. They have nothing behind him. Once Clanks is dead, so they can. Having a doctor that can just dive in the back line, once he gets this Hellflower and just blow up a Clanks, there's going to be, pretty big problems there. So, he did get the BKB, and I don't think he hasn't used it yet. So, I mean, I think the Firebrand was just the better choice in general. He should have just went Firebrand first because he hasn't used the BKB, and farm would have been amped up a lot more.
Yeah, you could argue it's definitely one of those hindsight things, but I mean, I agree. There's a reason, that obviously, you look at a player like Imbo Boy, going back to him, he's obviously got the main history on this hero, and he definitely likes to go that Firebrand right after the Thunderclaw, and just the enhancement that it brings is so good. So, I mean, he has it now, which is good, just a little bit later, different order here, which means this farm is not necessarily as high, but it's still 535 gold per minute, so that's
he's still up there.
Way to look
still
at
up
it, too.
there. And I think Oscar should have his Shrunken. I think he just needs the 400 gold. I think I saw him by the Warhammer. So once he gets a Basher, Clanks will have a lot of problems just from him. So I'm wondering if, I'm just calling him a boy, if Probusk's next item will be a Wingbow or something like that. Maybe finish the Geobane just to keep Madman at bay from him.
Yeah. Madman's an interesting hero too, I feel, especially in the role that Complexity likes to play it with. He really does have a lot of. He kind of like has that Swift Blade Suicide potential where, he's not going to be the hard carry for your team at least in the big game or whatever. But he will. You get him that Brutalizer, especially with a Shrunken Head. I mean, those two items alone will do wonders for Madman in this role. Aluna, meanwhile, getting caught over here, pulled away though by Prisoner. Unfortunately, I think that's just going to delay it, as it will die in the end. Meanwhile, off to the side, Magnus hit the stun onto Cthulhuphon here, and now Cthulhuphon's on the run. Doctor, he's fine, but the Elephant, not so much. So, a couple more kills coming in for this Legion side. Now for Bus, 560 GPM.
Yeah, Bus is getting a little bit out of control at this point. And he's sticking with his team now, which I think is the right decision. They can just run around together and take towers, and he has the supporting cast behind him with the BKB. So if they keep playing it like this, they should just be able to siege down all of their towers, because they have this huge experience lead too.
There goes the top tower kill. There's the puzzle box done.
That is level 2, I believe.
He just bought level 2, is that why?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's a level 2 puzzle box. Wait.
It's going to be good to see. And he has it coming out here. But yeah, so let's talk about Madman again. He has a Shrunken Head. I mean, even that alone, his skill set allows for him to do plenty of damage. In fact, he's going to try to use that right here against Parasite. No, what a stun from Lodestone. Parasite will eventually fall. Trying to help set up a kill though with a Doctor Repulsor, Arcane Vortex.
That might have saved Doctor.
I was just about to say that. That's going to save Doctor in the end. Oh, that's brutal. And now Lodestone will fall, and Moira, she's ended up falling. I mean, and everybody dies.
That's a misplay that you don't want to see, because that just changed a lot of this game.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So Clanks wasn't there either, and that's probably a good thing, because I think he just would have died with him. So, wow. Okay. So I guess there's the downfall of Moira.
That's the Arcane Vortex. I know when she first came out, that was kind of one of the first things that people were making a point of. That it's, especially in the TMM scene, I mean, you can get trolled pretty hard by your Moira teammates.
100%.
If they don't know what they're doing, and a lot of them just didn't because obviously she was new. So, obviously, the competitive scene, we don't see that nearly as much. It's used a lot more effectively than not, but that is a downside. Kind of like a Fissure from Behemoth, kind of like Mummy Walls from Pharah. I mean, there are those abilities that sometimes it'll actually hurt you more than help, which is unfortunate, and that was most certainly a big one there. So,
yeah, because. And he even had the icon regen ticking, so he even got up to like 250, 300 HP inside of that vortex. So, he probably, I think he got the charges from that though, anyways. No, he didn't. Okay, so he actually probably could have stuck around and got the extra charges from that, but it was probably the better decision just to get out.
Yeah, I think he was just happy to be alive at that point.
Being alive there is always a helpful thing. And he almost does have his Hellflower, and that's important.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be big against Clanks, especially, too. Again, being able to jump in, who now has a Geometer's Bane, so being able to jump in Hellflower before he can use either one of those will be big, big, big for Dr. Repulsor right here. As Clanks is flying in, whew, if he was spotted there, that could have been really dangerous, but he does not get spotted currently.
He did finish the Geometer's Bane,
yep,
which I do agree with. I think that was his best choice. I think he should work for a Wingbow now. I think next item has to be a Wingbow. I don't think there's really much. I don't think there's really any other options. If he goes Wingbow, he's relatively safe because Madman's not gonna have a Savage for long time. So that's a good pickup if he does go the Wingbow route.
Yeah, I think that's pretty traditional too. The Shrunken, Geometer's Bane, Wingbow. Pretty good trio of items to have for the Clanks here. Madman, again, I was talking about earlier with the Brutalizer. I think that's just such a good item on him, so if anything, probably expect to see that on him. Rather than
definitely. You think he just wants to save for either a buyback for a Congor fight or, he's not going to right-click it until he gets to 3100, which is probably the right decision because there's been so much fighting going on.
Yeah, but between that and Dr. Repulsor, I mean, they really do have it. And then you throw Prisoner on there. See, this goes back to this final pick Clanks here. And Doctor at that point wasn't picked out. Doctor was the final pick, to be fair, but you were calling it. They are known for running it, so it was a very obvious choice at the same time. And I don't think that's like a hindsight deal. So you really look at this Clanks pickup a little bit more, and especially the Doctor and the Prisoner, they're the two big ones. That it's a risky couple of heroes to pick up a hero like Clanks on, who's so relying on obviously the Hawk ability and being able to fly in and out of fights and get away from people. When Doctor he can chase, and then Prisoner of course with the Shackle and the Prison Break. Really
all they have to protect him is a Moira ulti on top of that, but that's probably just delaying the inevitable in reality.
Yeah.
So the Clanks pick was risky. I think they needed a hero like that so that they could, because they needed a late game hero. Like they didn't pick to win lanes; they picked to win late game. They just happened to win their lanes, which helped them to this point. So once Clanks gets the Wingbow, he should be a little bit safer, but there still is that dive potential straight on the back line for him.
Top lane pushing out Dr. Repulsor. He's getting really close now to finishing that Hellflower. See, Magnus is running up here.
With a portal key and tablet. So.
Oh, yeah, nice combo here. He went the Striders first, so open up a little bit of room for him to get those items. Again, he's only farming 226 gold per minute, but I guess we are about 27.5 minutes in now. So it's gone a little bit longer on here. There is the Hellflower, though, for Doctor. So now we're at that spot here. I feel like for this Hellborn team is when is enough enough? I mean, is that the item where they're probably okay? We need to try to make something happen now.
Yeah, and maybe the Basher on Madman might be the really big item that they're waiting for. I think once they have that, they should be pretty good to fight, especially before Probus gets a Wingbow, because that's when a little bit more trouble will be caused. So they should look to force a fight right now, because Madman will
There we go. Magnus, that's an instant kill, or somewhat after instant. Here come the TPs. Clank's leading the way, of course. Lodestone, he jumps in. They get the catch on Cthulhu Font. Prisoner popped the Shrunken. He is going to be able to TP out. So they only lost Cthulhu Font in response. A lot of TPs obviously used. And Madman is still pushing out the bottom lane now. I believe I saw him purchase the Brutalizer too.
Yep, should have been.
There.
So now they should go look to fight as 5. They have Shrunkens on their cores other than Doctor, which I think that's what he'll go next. I don't see him going anything else. I mean, he could go for like a Grimoire, some greedy item, but I think the BKB is the safer route.
Yeah. All right, so you got him falling back down to the jungle. You have Clanks meanwhile. Just keep getting more and more farm on him. Nearly getting up towards that 600 GPM mark right here. There is the Dancing Blade being delivered to him. That Wingbow coming up shortly.
Relatively close. So now, for the Legion team, they have to play defensive and just let Clanks get this Wingbow and not let Complexity start a fight. But Complexity wants this Congor, and I don't think Legion should defend this, but I think they're going to try. But I don't know how I feel about them actually defending this. Well, they're kind of just dancing around it, both of them.
Well, you see the ward of sight pretty deep here for Complexity.
Yeah.
It's spotting them running over, so...
I mean, definitely, they can definitely win a fight. I think for Complexity, they think that the whole team around Clanks is also, doing as well gold-wise, but they don't realize that it's really just Clanks. So if they saw what we saw, they'd just go, oh, okay, we just killed Clanks, we win the team fight.
Yeah.
So I think they're just being a little more careful, which is fine.
So the Veiled Rot not going to work there for the Legion side. Double damage rune up top here. Wonder if they're going to take it or not. Doesn't look like it, actually. So I don't know if they just don't see it or... No, they are. Okay.
Now they do, yeah. Let's come over to bottle it.
Yeah, this is a pretty big time to get a rune like that. So it's good that they get it themselves. There's the bottle of Lodestone, who has the barbed armor, by the way. And that's definitely a good item to synergize as well with Lodestone.
Definitely. And I just realized the Doctor has a regen on him, which is kind of like having a DD on a Clanks. It makes him do that much more damage. So.
Yep.
Legion does need to be a little bit careful about fighting into a regen Doctor, which is actually going to pop right now, and I don't think he's going to find anything with it. So.
Oh, they're back towards the Congor pit, so he knows that, so he's going to start using that mana, and he's going to come fly in here, keep the regen active. Or he's letting his team actually take care of business. Madman's pretty good at that. Now, they don't have an Abyssal Skull, though, so he's not getting any kind of lifesteal kicking in.
Yeah, the Clanks just send the illusions in to get vision of it. They're going to count it as ward.
I think that's something that they could look to pick up, though, the Abyssal Skull. Obviously, Madman would benefit pretty well from it here.
Yeah, I mean, they have 3 heroes that'll do well. Well, I mean, it's just nice to have the armor in general, so it's never a bad item. But yeah, Madman might be the candidate to get it. I would say even Cthulhu wouldn't be bad with it. Cthulhu got a Sackstone, which is a great item. It's really nice to have.
Middle lane. Now, Doctor's not here currently. He does have the TP. Double damage Clanks, though, is too scary here. Lodestone just checking. Gets in there a little bit late, though. There's the Wingbill purchase. So this whole idea of timing, of trying to get some action going before the Wingbill's picked up, I mean, it's not going to happen. He's going to have it now. Yeah.
This becomes a different game for Complexity now. They need to try to dodge as much as they can, just try to get farm where they can. Hopefully, I mean, Madman's not that far off from a Savage. I mean, he's going to have the, I don't even know, the 2400 damage piece. I don't even know what it's called. For the Savage.
Slayer.
Slayer,
Yeah.
So almost has enough for the Slayer, and then, it's just the 2 hammers. So, it's not that far off, and if they can kind of turtle until then it'll be the same problem that Clanks has had, where if he gets sat on, he's just going to die.
Yeah. So the game of back and forth here continues between Complexity and Fresh. See Fresh continuing to move as a team and trying to find an opportunity. Not going to get it, though. Complexity playing it a little too safe. They got some decent vision up here from Love. Is every now and then seeing 1 or 2 heroes run on by. So have that information to work with. Dr. Pulse is going to pour it out. Madman needs to be careful here.
Let's see the Magnus here. Yep.
Okay. Sees him and then gets on out of there. Yeah, I believe I saw him buy the Slayer too. So
Yeah, that's the good decision. And I think Doctor is saving for his Shrunken. So they could actually look to fight. I think they should still wait until the full Savage is finished, but they could still win a fight without having that Savage Mace. As long as the Doctor can get to the back line with either Cthulhu or Madman, and they just sit on him and just take him down.
yeah.
And that's going to be a symbol for Clanks, which I do agree with 100%.
Yeah, I mean, just the Whispering Helm alone obviously now gives him that life steal, and that's going to do wonders for him. So Clanks really is getting very scary here, and you throw a symbol now on top of it all. That's not good for complexity. So this it really feels like, I don't want to say they're on a time limit, but man, Robusca's getting out of control here. And I mean, they're already got it half life at the tower.
Yeah, and they forwarded a little bit late, so even gonna lose. It's already half life. Yeah, almost exactly half life. So, yeah, they really need to. They might just want to force a fight at this point. Either I don't know if they're gonna be able to get big enough items before Clanks finishes the symbol, and when Clanks gets symbol, that might be the game just right there, because I don't know if I'll have the damage to kill him.
Yeah.
Without having a Savage Mace.
Again, around the Congor pit, you see Congor has regen most of the life that he lost, so would have to pretty much start from fresh right here. You do got Probusk using the illusions to scout it out just in case. But Complexity not really too interested in doing it. And again, spreading back out, going for more farm. You know, here we were just in the other series complimenting Complexity on how they've kind of changed their ways, and they're much more of an aggressive team now and everything. But this definitely feels like this is turning out to be a little more of the old school Complexity of wanting to take it longer and longer here in this first game.
I do think they believe that they have the late game, and they should, because they're really just against the Clanks. So they need to be careful right here. Ooh.
Magnus, he gets caught by Doctor, but Doctor, this is pretty risky. He
has
takes
to
a
commit
lot
the
of
kill.
damage. He does eventually get the kill, but he's out of mana. And he goes down, not worth it at all for just a Magnus.
Yeah, they try to make that jump play, but you know, at this point, they need to expect their whole team to be sitting behind whoever is in a lane, because that's just how they have to play at this point.
And he doesn't have a buyback, so this is a pretty crucial spot here for the Legion team to try to make something out of this now. You have
Almost
Clanks.
700 GP on Clanks. That's never. Oh. That's brutal to face. It's not fun. He almost has a symbol here. He's 1,000 gold off. Should be a free Congor.
Yep. And all of a sudden, they're going to now have a token on the Clanks as well. Well, actually, what does he drop here? Would he get rid of the Thunderclaw, I guess?
He might. Yeah, I was gonna say give the Whispering Helm to one of the other heroes. Yeah. At least you don't have the couriers anymore. Gotta work with what you got.
Yep. All right, well, gets a Whispering Helm too. Parasite for now. Obviously doesn't work on him, just simply using him as a courier in a sense.
He'll bring it to him eventually.
Yeah, ideally after he dies in mid-fight, I mean, that's tough
You
to
can
do
get
for
it to him.
sure.
Yeah, but if you can get it to him, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's crucial.
So now Clanks has that token, and now you got another 6 minutes here. That Complexity really, they're not going to be comfortable once again in terms of trying to make a fight happen. So part of me almost wonders too if that jump was a bit of formless, getting a little impatient. It's just there hasn't been this was an action-packed game early on, and then it really slowed down here. And he probably, he hasn't really done much since he's got the Hellflower. I feel like even. So
No,
he
he hasn't
might be
been able
going
to
to
find
use it.
Yeah. The Fresh is playing exactly how they should play. Sit
Yeah.
behind one hero, wait for them to jump, and go. That's how you should be playing against Doctor, and they're playing it perfectly, and they're also getting the Clanks to farm he needs. And a Storm Spear finish on Lodestone, that's a big item for them. That'll just protect the Clanks even more.
Yeah, this is one of those heroes that if you have a 4-1 strat, he's one of the best at it. So do everything you can to protect the Clanks, and they got that capability for sure. So Storm Spirit is just only going to help that now.
And there's the symbol on the Clanks.
Oh, wow.
He did sell his Thunderclaw for that, or he dropped it, one of the two. He might have just dropped it.
I'm going to say he sold it, because...
He might have.
No.
I mean, he had 3,800 gold when he was at Congor, so he might have just dropped it.
Actually, yeah, you might be right. For some reason, I thought the Whispering Helm was still on Parasite, but that wouldn't make sense. So, yeah, never mind.
So yeah, he's probably just he'll hold on to it because if he loses his token, then he can just go him back and get it until he gets his final item, which I'm not sure what he would go as a final item at this point. There's a couple. I mean, he could just go preemptive savage, expecting maybe at least Madman to get it eventually, or there's a couple to go.
You know what would be an interesting item that we literally never see is Charged Hammer. If he's going to keep the Thunderclaw, I feel like, especially knowing that they're going to try to really focus him, just getting that Charged Hammer buff on yourself and having even more attack speed, seems like it could be all right.
I was actually just looking at the fact that he could go Charge Hammer, mostly because he could just give it to Lodestone when Lodestone jumps into a team fight.
That too.
And while, the Barb's on, they're also getting caught. Oh, hook on the Parasite.
They catch him. Here we go. Shrunken and popped by Prisoner. You see Parasite getting eaten out of the creep right there. Clanks. He gets stunned, but they're killing the teammates around him. At least that's the intention. But Clanks is able to stand his ground with that good squad. Shadowstorm in the background coming out of the Arcane Vortex. It explodes right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Finally, he will fall shortly after. Dr. Repulsor get us a nice buff out of this, but now he's in trouble. Madman also had to run back. Doctor will be able to fly out of there, but he flies next to Clanks. Oh, and he goes down in the end. He does have a buyback. He uses it immediately. He's the only one to use a buyback here, but the rack's destroyed. Proboscis still very, very strong here. He still has Shrunken. He still has Symbol. He still has the freaking token.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to kill everything around him, but Clanks killed everything around them faster than they could.
Yeah.
So that's, always the problem. And Savage was finished on Madman, though, so...
Okay. Yeah, they're going to try right here. He goes on. Well, not really. He turns around immediately. He didn't have his Berserk up, so I think that's definitely a good decision. And now the tower is going to fall. You got Clanks. He's just going to sit on the racks now. Now, Lowstone, again, he's dead, but you see the backup is still kind of hanging out nearby. Now, Moira's not here. Oh, wow. You see Madman just melt, though.
Yeah, Parasite just ulted him on the top of it and just dead.
They can't stop him, man. I mean,
yeah,
they want to save the racks, but they can't. They're going to stun him.
They're going to try to kill everything around him again.
There we go. Well, he's just going to kill the racks, and now he's going to focus Doctor, as well as Cthulhu Fawn. So they do kill Parasite, but now Clanks. Again, he didn't use any items yet because he still has the token, and he's still able to wreck them. He does pop the similar rage right here, it looks like. Oh, gee, it's over.
Yeah.
It's GG's being called.
That's G.
That got out of hand, man.
They really played that 4-1 strat well, much like the old Reason did.
Yeah.
So if that's how that's a confident way to play it. If they trust Probus that much, then they should totally go for that because it worked out right there, as you saw.
It did. But not to take credit away from them, but I do feel like Complexity. Now that the result takes place, it's a little easier to say this, I guess, but I feel like we pointed out a couple times during the game, too. It's just they needed to go. They needed to go. You mentioned before the wing bow especially. They had some times, but they really didn't go too aggressive. So
yeah, there was a lot of times, he finished the Hellflower, and they didn't really make much out of it. Not much with the Prisoner PK. It's just they didn't do enough with the items they had to at least even